Oh, hi there. I'm making this video to state what is obvious to me, but what some other people either don't believe or don't want to believe. And that's Justin Trudeau is not in China. It says so on the news station. You see him standing there in front of, a military war site for the Commonwealth soldiers that died there during World War II defending Hong Kong. He's supposedly meeting with Hong Kong business officials, but the fact is, Justin Trudeau's security would not be able to do their job properly in a place like China. There are some security risks that, could not be. He just can't be there. Not with the state of affairs that's really going on in China. Now, what they did is they showed some video of him on his own mostly, or with one other guy who I don't even know who it was. And then they showed other videos of like a conference where there's a whole pile of Chinese people saying, trying to strengthen, economic ties and things like that, or whatever the hell they were doing. But it's all bogus. Justin Trudeau doesn't go to no-go zones. He's the Prime Minister of Canada. He literally doesn't do it. It's not that he rarely does it. He doesn't do it. It's as simple as that. He probably never even gone to South Korea before. Because it's just too much of an opportunity for North Korea and or China to fire a missile and kill the Prime Minister of Canada. Which can't happen. Even going to Japan is a bit far-fetched. As powerful a man as Justin Trudeau is here, it is here that he's the most powerful man. Over there, he can only take a limited security force with him, and there's no way he could properly defend himself against the Yakuza in Japan. And the Yakuza are psychopaths. They'll do anything. They'll do anything for money. They'll do anything for power. And that's the same thing with the Chinese triads. Justin Trudeau did not go to China. He went somewhere in an Asian type of area, and the media has described that as him going to China. But that ain't the same thing. It ain't the same thing at all. Because if he went to China, it is quite simple. He would be abducted. He would be kidnapped. That is exactly what would happen because that is their mentality. It's what they specialize. They specialize in grabbing people and holding them hostage for money and then probably killing them afterwards. They specialize in putting people into slavery. They specialize in taking people's organs. And you can guarantee there's some rich Asian business leader who spent a life of decadence abusing his body, and now he needs a kidney, and he's like, special power. The power! I must have Justin Trudeau organ. Get it for me. I must have it for my ego. Because if I have his organ, it means I have all his power. And I have defeated him. Probably eat his heart too as well. And you may go, well, that's savage. That's brutal. How could you say that about a bunch of people? I don't know, because I'm not oblivious. Look, I ain't never been there. Ain't never going there. But you gotta read between the lines in the media. You can't just go along with what you want to believe. Now you may go, well, that's what you're doing. You want to believe that Justin Trudeau is not there. I have circumstantial evidence and indirect evidence that indicates that he is not there. Where he is in the Asia kind of area, I have no idea. Nobody knows. The Prime Minister's actions are secretive. He's elusive. Don't really know what he's doing. But the news saying he's trying to strengthen economic ties with Asia, he's doing this, he's doing that, it is all a bunch of lies. The media lies to you. This is not news, it's propaganda. And you may go, well, if it were propaganda, why isn't there a poster of Mao Zedong? That's what propaganda is, you know. No, it isn't. Propaganda is presenting an image of an idea to you in a way you want to interpret it, and it was controlled by the people creating the propaganda to make you believe what they want you to believe, what they want you to think. And they use your own ignorance against you, because depending how old you are, you understand propaganda differently. You understand the media around you differently. That's why a lot of old people are really crotchety, and they don't like talking about what they know, because what they know they don't understand anymore, because it's not the same thing as it is today. And what they knew back then also was probably lies, or exaggerated, or whatever. I wasn't born then, I don't know exactly what. But I know my dad saw a whole pile of different types of propaganda, because he came from England, wartime baby, moved over here. He saw things differently. He never quite fit in the box like everybody else did here. So my point is, in the Commonwealth, we should be allowed to, if you're a white guy, you should be allowed to move around. And you may go, well, that's a racist thing to say. Everyone should have the right to move around. No. We are the conquerors. We're the ones who get to move around. Is it a little bit racist? Yes. But do we have to put up with your crap? No. Those are the rules. You do what we say, not as we do. People have forgotten that Canada, England, the Americans, Australia, South Africa are part of the British Empire. I don't use that term very often in the news, but that's what it is. That's what we are. And there are areas that are allies, but they're more like frenemies. And I've made videos on this before with Japan, and how you can't entirely trust them. They'll do anything. I mean, they don't really have a choice, but they'll still do it. Because, I mean, China has the largest submarine fleet in the world, and supposedly they're undetectable, so they could sneak right up on Japan, and there's not really a lot the Japanese could do about it. They could be, they could even mock them by having the submarines go around in a circle around Japan with missiles pointed at them. And this is all kept under wraps, of course, because of a little thing called mutual assured destruction. If China pulls any shit, they're going to get destroyed. And not to mention, there's so many countries in that general sphere, on this planet, that don't like them. And the uniqueness about the way the British Empire is operated is our allies, they think differently than us. They're still allies, but we're all united on one goal, and that is to hate China. Because China wants to take over the world. We all know this. It's what we were told when we were kids. You're 30 years old, you heard it all the time. And when you're a kid, it's harmless. I made a video saying I think it's detrimental to the health of a young white person to hear that China's going to rule the world. A little bit of deception there, but, I don't like it. I didn't like it. Never did. Never agreed with it, and it almost led to my destruction, which I would not have liked. I'm not in the ideal place I want to be, but you know what? I feel as though I can change things. I can better the situation for the next generation. And part of that is exposing lies. I'm telling you, Justin Trudeau is not in any place anywhere near the Chinese army. He isn't. They're psychopaths. They'll fucking grab him. It's no doubt about it. And he may go there with 1,000 men protecting him, but the Chinese will send everything they got at him. They'd send 1 million men to go grab him. Because he's that valuable. And that would be World War III. So, neither side really wants to take that chance. I have my serious suspicions that he's not in Hong Kong. They say he is because they want you to go, oh, Hong Kong is a perfectly peaceful area. Look how nice their city is, blah, 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 blah. Let's go vacation there and do business there. And this is because our economic and diplomatic leaders are there doing business. But they know the risks. They know that it's right next door to the biggest army in the world. And that the biggest army in the world is going to put the lien on Hong Kong and therefore do detrimental things to them if we don't continue to do business. Because if we don't continue to do business, if we leave them in the dark like we did before, well, the world is progressing and they're still in the Stone Age, then they're going to get mad. They're going to get mad that they're not making money. They're not going to get mad that they're not learning new things. They're going to get mad for a whole pile of reasons. And to even question that logic of that we're buddies with them pisses people off a lot. Because I live in Vancouver. Most of the Asians that live here are from Hong Kong. Most of them been here one, maybe two generations. There are plenty that have been here longer than that, and I give props to them because they're they're decent people. But yeah, I still got that bad cough. Anyway, there are others that are arrogant little pricks who think that China's going to rule the world, and they think they're so smart because they know how to dig their nose in a book and study on how to be a doctor, or how to be a lawyer, or whatever. And when they become those certain jobs, they learn things about society and how the world works that a produce clerk like myself is not privy to. But, I am smarter than them. I have learned things through the internet that they did not learn. Not because I got special treatment, but because I'm not a fool. You could be a fool and still be a doctor. You can be a fool and be a lawyer. You can be a fool and be in any profession you want. I like to think of myself as not being a fool. I am in some ways, but in others I'm not. And everyday Jedi mind tricks, the propaganda machine, the media, their tricks don't work on me. Because I don't think like your average person does. I grew up in a different set of understanding of the world than people did with more traditional methods of being raised. So I know for a fact that the world isn't what it seems. And really, we may wear nice clothing, we may live in houses, we may live in concrete streets, but it's still tribalism. It's still jungle law. It's still animal animosity. And rules that are enforced by guerrillas and with black clothing and guns. It's still jungle law. Ooh. And the chain of command is flawed. It's inaccurate. All it takes is one person saying, I don't agree. And I'll explain to other people why I don't agree with this. And all of a sudden, you got a problem. Now, one of the things a lot of people aren't going to understand is there can only be X amount of celebrities. There can only be X amount of important public officials. This is because we can't have too much media growing out of control. The problem is, let's say we'll use Dustin Brown of the Los Angeles Kings, I might add. Not Los Angeles, Los Angeles. Anyway, we'll use him for an example. He probably wants his children to grow up and become NHL hockey stars. Or get an important job or something like that. Or be, who knows exactly what he wants. But he wants to pass on his experience, his success, onto his children. Every parent wants to do that. And the thing about that is, they will occupy a spot that could have been fulfilled by somebody of lower status in society, who could have done the job just as well, but didn't inherit it. But if you can think outside the box, break free of their mind control, because there's nothing worse than being a prisoner of the mind, and display an idea. Maybe you're good at music, or maybe you're good at making YouTube videos like I'm trying to be. Maybe you got new ideas, maybe you got a fresh spin on things. Then maybe you could take their place. Maybe it doesn't have to be inherited down the chain of command. And us common folk can never aspire to be powerful individuals. People of great status. Maybe the next generation won't win a Stanley Cup or something like that. We don't know. But things can change. And all it takes is an idea. An idea that can't be stopped, can't be altered. And all it takes is determination. And I use Dustin Brown as an example. I mean, my impression of Dustin Brown is a bit of a douchebag. I mean, that's offhand. I think Anze Kopitar would be the better captain. He's a more competent player. Yeah, Dustin Brown, you dropped the ball, man. I liked you before, but you dropped the ball, man. Didn't look too cool. Anyway, I'm just on the outside looking in, but I'm telling you that celebrities shouldn't have their children, the next generation, automatically a seat in that's taking the place of an ordinary person who may be better qualified for that unique position than they are, just because they inherited it. I mean, if I ever get to the point where I'm in a higher status than what I am now, I get to become a YouTube propaganda unit worker, then I would like to pass that on to my kids. But I'm not having any for like 10 years. I mean, the first woman that comes along, oh God, is she ever going to be a pain? I tell you more about my recent sexual encounters, but they're far and few between, and haven't been too terribly successful. That'll change. It's no big deal. Like that Russian chick. I liked her, but she was expensive. Anyway, yeah, this is all going off topic from what I was talking about, which was Justin Trudeau is not in China. I could dabble more into genetics and the reason why there were so many people from Hong Kong in Vancouver, and why white man has been conditioned into thinking that Asian women are hot. Physically, they are. A lot of them are attractive. But when you look at them from what are people that look like them doing back at their own home country and how savage they can be, it may not be the pretty little Asian girl that lives here's fault, but she's still related to them. And going with one of those women on a serious relationship is like adopting the viciousness of their genetics. Because if you start to look like them, you'll start to act like them. If you start to act like them, you'll start to be them. And I don't want that. I don't like the idea that there have been too many people from Hong Kong here. Maybe we need some genetic dilution into our gene pool. Every race does. But I don't like Asians. I don't like them at all. Maybe I'm a little bit racist, but they're racist too. A lot more than me. They're trying to take over my city. We got problem. Real problem. And because there are white people who would deny this problem, enforce lies, then it isn't going to get resolved until those white people who enforce those lies and alibi Asians and make money out of Asian businessmen who come here with an absurd amount of money off the blood and sweat of their own countrymen, I might add, buy a property, and then expect them to behave and treat us better because now they're wealthy? They're going to do the same thing to us if we let them. So, I'm the thorn in their side. I'm the guy they can't get rid of. And you'll be hearing more from me. I got lots of ideas. Anyway, been fun talking to you guys. See you later.